Probably got 901. Gets off the road, 901.
The man inside that wreckage is Marvin Morales. For 7 years, Morales wore the badge of the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, sworn to protect the community from the very threats he would eventually become. However, his career came to a shameful end in February of 2024. His downward spiral began months before his termination with a scandal that rocked the department. In 2023, Morales was found unresponsive in a headquarters bathroom after overdosing on fentanyl. An internal investigation later revealed a humiliating truth. A deputy sheriff had been stealing narcotics from the evidence locker to fuel his own addiction. After being fired, Morales spent nearly 2 years in a dark void of desperation and resentment. On the morning of December 2nd, 2025, that darkness turned into an unforgivable atrocity. While Morales was at home with his 2 children, his wife opened her home security camera application from a remote location. Through her phone screen, she watched in horror as her husband attacked their 11-year-old son. By the time officers arrived at the scene, the young boy had succumbed to his injuries. A 6-year-old daughter was found alive but traumatized, and a gun safe inside the home had been emptied. Marvin Morales had vanished into the morning fog, armed with high-powered rifles and a fury that suggested he had no intention of being taken alive.
Staff 200.
Staff 200, go ahead.
Vehicle Bolo. I'm behind it, southbound I-5, south of Elk Grove Boulevard.
I copy.
Approaching Hood Franklin.
10-4.
We're passing Hood Franklin now.
It's Sheriff, and it's marked units.
I copy. Passing Hood Franklin now.
K-8, I'll be with it here in a second. Looks like I see it passing Hood. We have error now.
K-9, he's going to be in front of that truck in the number 1 lane.
We're asking.
All right, K-98, I'm with it. Southbound, number 2 lane.
As the air unit and K-9 teams mobilize, the stakes shift. They are hunting a man who knows their radio codes and their tactics. Morales is not just a fugitive, he is a former insider waiting for a deadly confrontation.
All right, he's back. Left tire. Got his bike on it.
Heavy morning traffic on Interstate 5 creates a high-stakes obstacle course. The thick fog does more than hide the road. It provides Morales with a perfect screen to mask his movements from the air unit. Every civilian vehicle is now a potential shield between a killer and the law. Outside agencies coordinate to deploy spike strips as a last resort to end the threat. The same fog that Morales used for cover now works against him. He cannot see the trap until it is too late. With at least 1 tire shredded, his tactical advantage is gone, and the pursuit begins its final descent into chaos.
Still southbound. Let's continue getting spikes out first, please. Just as many times as we can. And all right, he's losing the tire now. Probably got 901. Gets off the road, 901.
The car is wrecked, but deputies hold their position. They know Morales is armed and trained. No one moves until they can see his hands.
We're good. Sonny, get your dog! Get your dog! Hey, someone take radio for us! I don't have any radio.
Hey, doors open! Doors open! Put your hands in the air! Walk to us now! Marvin, walk to us! Don't reach! Don't reach! Put it down!
Morales ignores every command to surrender. He drops a small object only to reach back into the vehicle for something far more lethal. When he pulls out a rifle and aims it directly at the deputies, the threat becomes immediate. Law enforcement opens fire to neutralize the danger before he can pull the trigger.
Drop it! Can you repeat?
When a suspect points a rifle, the threat is immediate. The law does not require officers to wait for a shot to be fired before they can defend themselves. In this moment, lethal force is used to neutralize the danger and protect every person on that highway. It is a decision based on the constitutional standard of objective reasonableness.
I got a bolt cutter, so we get a heads up and grabbing bolt cutters. I'm coming down on your guys' left. Copy.
Hey, please!
Even with the suspect on the ground, the scene is not secure. Deputies utilize a ballistic shield and a K9 to move in for a cautious approach. Because Morales is a former deputy who knows police procedures, they must treat every second as a potential ambush. The K9 is deployed to ensure the suspect is no longer a threat before any life-saving measures can begin.
We got a car coming, just so you guys know, we got a truck coming up this road right now.
Dog on the bite, no movement. Let's move forward. Push. Going up high. Hands are empty. Right hand's empty. Right hand's empty. Can we see the left hand?
Hey, you guys take the car? Yeah, we got the car.
I got the dog.
All right, let's take the dog off. Everybody.
Copy that.
Morales was transported to a local hospital where he was later pronounced deceased. At the scene, investigators recovered a high-powered rifle. The California Department of Justice is now leading the investigation into the shooting. This tragedy serves as a grim reminder of the devastating impact of addiction and the high cost of broken trust. When those sworn to protect become the source of violence, the entire community carries the weight of the failure. We analyze these cases to demand accountability and to understand the psychological shifts that lead to such unthinkable acts. A case like this raises difficult questions about mental health and oversight within law enforcement. What do you think could have been done to prevent this downward spiral before it turned deadly? Share your perspective in the comments below. If you find these deep dives into justice and human behavior valuable, subscribe to join our community for more in-depth analysis. Thank you for watching. For